The Tennessee Titans unleashed Derrick Henry on the Cincinnati Bengals, but the way that they did it, we've never seen before. I'll tell you what happened as we dive into the film on today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. Let's get it.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Guys, it's Tic Tac Tuesday. It's time to dive into the film, my all 22 review from week 4. We are going to focus on how the Tennessee Titans unleashed Derrick Henry. They did some incredibly creative things in the run game to get Henry going. We're going to dive into that, plus defensive adjustments the Titans made, and look at what happened with Andre Dillard, who is the best pass-blocking offensive lineman for the Titans against the Bengals. Quite the turnaround. So much to talk about. Before we get into it, thank you guys for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen each and every day. Remember, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed to the Locked On Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Shout out to my everydayers out there. Of course, it's Tic Tac Tuesday. We're going to dive into the film. Tomorrow is What's Next Wednesday. I'm going to talk about how Nicholas Petit-Ferrer fits into the offensive line. Kyle Phillips coming back. Then it'll be crossover Thursday. We'll have the guys from Locked On Colts on to break down the game. And then Game Plan Friday, where we talk about what the Titans need to do to win. And speaking of Game Plan Friday, if you listen to Game Plan Friday, I said the Tennessee Titans need to attack the perimeter. The Tennessee Titans need to run out of shotgun with Derrick Henry. The Tennessee Titans need to play more 3 wide receiver and spread out the Bengals defense so they can get more advantageous situations in the box. And ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly what happened. The Tennessee Titans ran the ball. If you take away the kneel down or a quarterback scramble, the Titans ran the ball 31 times. 31 times. 14 of those were runs out of shotgun. And 6 of those were runs out of pistol. This isn't the old school Arthur Smith Tennessee Titans offense where they're running a ton from under center. The Titans are evolving from that, okay? So what the Titans were doing here was they were looking to get the ball in the hands of the running back quicker. One of the big problems is defenses are penetrating quickly beyond the line of scrimmage and hitting guys before they get there. Well, by running out of shotgun or running out of pistol, the quarterback is closer to the running back. You're getting the ball in the belly of the running back faster. And then the running back, in turn, can read the defense, read his blocks, and make decisions quicker. And this helps you deal with rapid penetration, okay? Not only that, but the Tennessee Titans give running backs more directional opportunities. You can bust one outside. You can take it up the middle. You can see things quicker when you get the ball quicker. So the Titans were doing that first and foremost. Again, 14 out of 31 runs were shotgun runs for the Titans. And the Titans are a zone run team. 21 of those 31 runs, gap runs, not zone runs, gap scheme with pullers or lead blockers. So this is an evolution of the Tennessee Titans run game right here, and it's what they did to finally adjust to the way defenses were playing them and ultimately got Derrick Henry free, open up the run game. All right, that is what is going on the tape. This was a totally different run scheme from the Titans, and it's exactly what we talked about on Friday. So shout out to my everydayers out there. Throw a thumbs up on the video right now if you're watching as well. I dive into the tape every week on Tuesday's show, and I can already hear the YouTube people. It's Monday. Does he know it's Monday? You get the show early. Don't complain. But I love that adjustment by the Titans to deal with that penetration, get the ball to the backs quicker. And not only that, but the Titans were playing out of way more 11 personnel. What's 11 personnel? 3 wide receivers, 1 running back, 1 tight end, 11 personnel. So the Titans were playing a ton out of 3 wide receiver sets. And what was happening there was The Bengals were adjusting to that. They were playing nickel. The box wasn't as loaded, giving Derrick Henry more room. And when the Titans were in 11 personnel with only one tight end on the field and 3 wide receivers, the Bengals would go with a 4-man front with only 4 guys on the line of scrimmage. One of the big problems the Titans have been having is teams have been loading the line of scrimmage and darting through the gaps. Well, if the Titans are in 3 wide receiver and they're spread out and they're in shotgun, teams aren't going to do that, which gave Derrick Henry more room. But you can't run just the traditional outside zone stuff out of shotgun unless you pitch it to Derrick Henry, which is why it's not just running out of shotgun, running gap runs to get the ball to the back quicker and let him read the defense quicker. It's not just about playing 3 wide receiver sets and being in shotgun more so that you can lighten up the boxes and so that you can get the numbers more in your favor by spreading out the defense. It's not just that. It's the fact that the Titans are able to run their under the center plays from shotgun with those tosses. The Titans were running pitches and tosses out of shotgun, getting the ball to Derrick Henry. And essentially what happens is you're running an outside zone play, but you're doing it from shotgun, which totally throws off how the defense normally wants to play outside zone when the Titans are under center with Ryan Tannehill with multiple tight ends on the line of scrimmage. Now you're running outside zone from shotgun in 3 wide receiver, and you're totally lighting up the box so Derrick Henry has more room to operate. These are incredible adjustments by Tim Kelly. Tim Kelly is doing a great job early in the season. All right, if you're still mad about week 1 and the usage, you're wrong. Week 2 was good. Week 3 was a beatdown that Andre Dillard kind of ruined the plan. Bad plan by Tim Kelly there too, but this is great stuff. Okay, so not only are they doing all these things in the run game, but the tight ends were so much better. Josh Wiley getting inserted more into the game, absolutely critical. Hope to see more of him going forward. Wesco finally won some one-on-one blocks as well. And they helped the tight ends in this game by not having them on the line of scrimmage. So the Titans are running out of shotgun, getting the ball back to the running back quicker. They are going out of 11 personnel and spreading out the defense. They're running more gap runs instead of zone runs, all of that to unleash Derrick Henry on the Bengals. And I want to make one other point. It's all about the run game, everything the Titans were doing up front there. But I do want to make one point about the passing game before we move on to the defense. Ryan Tannehill is taking shots down the field. And it's not just play action. People want to go, oh, he's good in play action. He's good in play action. No, Tannehill is good when he is throwing the ball down the field. All right? Press people. I've been saying the Titans have to take shots. We talked about it on Friday, on Game Plan Friday. The Titans have to take shots down the field. Tannehill was only 4 of 7 for 63 yards and a touchdown and an interception on play action. He was 14 of 18 with 177 yards on non-play action throws. Regardless of whether it's play action or not, the Titans need to force the ball down the field. Right now, Ryan Tannehill has the 2nd highest average depth of target, ADOT, in the NFL of quarterbacks who have dropped back at least 40 times. 10.4 yards, only behind Jordan Love, 10.5. Tannehill is throwing bombs. Attack downfield, make defenses fear you, make defenses respect you, run out of shotgun, use 3 wide receivers, spread teams out vertically, spread teams out laterally, and give Derrick Henry more room to punish defenses. Shout out to Tim Kelly. Beautiful game plan, beautiful adjustments in the run game, and I hope we see more of it going forward. But now we need to talk about how the Titans defense adjusted to what the Bengals were cutting up the Titans in the run game early, and the Titans adjusted with their safeties and how they aligned against the Bengals formations. It was absolutely beautiful stuff. We're going to talk about that. Plus, deep dive into Andre Dillard's bounce back performance. Got to talk about the offensive line a little bit at the end of the show. Before we get into all of that, though, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Look, guys, I know that I've been there. I'm sure you've been there. Frustrated. You're trying to get tickets. It's kind of last minute, spontaneous thing. You don't know if you can trust whether your seats are a good deal. You can't trust whether you're going to get the actual seats that you're thinking that you're going to get. You don't have any of those issues with Gametime. The Gametime app, super easy to use. They have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices. You get a great view of what your seat is actually going to look like, and they have a best price guarantee. Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. You get exclusive deals. They have more than just sports, too, guys. I mean, they have comedy, they have theater, all kinds of different stuff, concerts, of course. Gametime has deals on tickets right up to the start of events too. So even an hour after the event starts, the best place to find last-minute seats is the Gametime app. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL. That's LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Titans fans, let's continue today's Tic Tac Tuesday edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. We're diving into the tape. It's my all-22 review of what happened against the Cincinnati Bengals. 27-3 win for the Titans. Just talked about the offense and the adjustments that they made in the run game to get Derrick Henry going. Want to now transition and talk about the defensive adjustments the Titans made after the Bengals' run game hurt them early on in the first quarter and in the first half. Before we get into all of that, though, thank you guys again for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen each and every day. Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. Make sure you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day here on the Locked On Titans podcast. Do want to remind you guys, I write for Sports Illustrated. I'm a staff writer covering the Titans over there at alltitans.com. All right, that's where I post all my film work. I usually post links on the YouTube channel. I can't put game film on the Locked On Titans YouTube channel, copyright issues, all of that. But all my film work is at alltitans.com for Sports Illustrated. Check out my Twitter account at tictactitans.com. Do want to give a shout out to a few folks in the comment section. Kai the God said, talk about my boy NWI. I have so many notes, guys, and the show needs to be under 30 minutes. So I end up running out of time to talk about some things. But one of the things I wanted to mention in the first section is that NWI, being the Titans wide receiver, allows the Titans to have more tight ends on the field than normal. I talked about how the Titans went to 11 personnel with 3 wide receivers. Well, they can motion NWI into the formation, whether it be next to the tight end or on the opposite side of the tight end. And now the Titans basically have 2 tight ends. So because of NWI's physicality and ability to block, he can go inside, go against linebackers, go against defensive ends, seal them off. NWI's ability to block is something that we've laughed about. Everyone's joked about. You know, it's just a thing. Oh, the wide receivers just block. But the reality is NWI is unlocking the Titans' run game right now because he can be used as a third tight end. So where the Titans would want to have 2 tight ends and then have a third tight end, now they can have NWI, lighten the box a little bit. Same thing with 1 tight end. Now you can have NWI basically work as a second tight end, and you get to be in those base personnel formations that the Titans like, but have 3 wide receiver personnel on the field, which will get nickel defenses on the field and allow the Titans to have 1 less linebacker, 1 less defensive lineman to deal with. So shout out to NWI. There's the sidebar. But let's talk about the Tennessee Titans defense, okay? So the Bengals were having success early because the Titans did, not to pat my back again here, but the Titans did exactly what we talked about on Game Plan Friday. The Titans played a ton of tight man coverage early, brought 5-man pressures, brought blitzes, got in Joe Burrow's face, didn't give him time, all of that. But one of the sacrifices the Titans made early on was the Bengals were getting chunks in the run game. They were having good success in the run game with Joe Mixon, and they were doing it out of shotgun. And what they were doing is they knew that the Titans were going to play man coverage because the Titans wanted to guard against the quick screens, the quick game of the Bengals, make sure that they had somebody on, all those little screens out to Jamar Chase from the motion, all that. The Titans wanted to be on top of those things and make sure they had enough numbers there to tackle those yak plays that the Bengals were looking to make. So the Titans only played with 6 guys in the box, 2 linebackers, Jack Gibbons and Aziz, and then the 4 down linemen. Well, the Bengals would have a tight end and an offensive lineman. That's 6 on 6. That's an advantage math-wise to the offense. So the edge rushers for the Titans, the edges, weren't doing a very good job at first of setting the wall and kind of pinching in. So the Bengals had a ton of room between the guard and the tackle. They were just giving the ball to Joe Mixon, down blocking on one side, sealing with the offensive tackle on the edge, and running up the middle. There's a double team with the interior offensive line. One of them gets up to the linebacker. And next thing you know, there's a hat on a hat, 6 on 6, and Joe Mixon's running up the Titans defense. Okay, so one of the big problems there was you had 2 wide receivers out wide on one side, and then 1 wide receiver and 1 tight end on the other side. The Titans' deep safety on the tight end side was staying deep because they were worried about whether it was T. Higgins or Jamar Chase on the single receiver side. And then the slot cornerback was so far on the other side with the 2 wide receiver side that the Titans simply couldn't have 7 people in the box. Again, they were stuck with 6. So what the Titans started doing is, on the tight end side, when the Bengals would motion away to create more space to the 2 wide receiver side, the Titans would roll down the safety, and most of the time it was Amani Hooker. So to the tight end side, throughout the game, the Titans started to roll down their safety further and further and further and closer to the line of scrimmage, till eventually, late in the second quarter, into the second half, Amani Hooker was coming up as a third linebacker for the Titans and filling that gap that was open, and now the run game isn't having as much success. And when the run game starts having as much success, again, in the second quarter, when the Titans scored 3 touchdowns on offense, when the Titans started bottling up those runs by having that safety creep up as the third linebacker, it allowed the Titans to get third and long situations to where they could blitz. The Titans going into this game blitzed only the 24th most in the NFL. The Titans were in the bottom 10 in terms of defenses that blitz and how often they blitz. The Titans blitzed a lot in this game. And to me, a blitz is where you bring 5 people, all right? The Titans were bringing, one time they brought 7 people on a blitz and had 4 people in man coverage and just said, the Bengals are keeping a tight end and a running back in to help against the pass rush. If they're going to do that, then we're not going to have guys sit around and stare into the backfield because their man assignment is blocking. No, we're going to bring them. So on multiple occasions, the Titans are bringing 5. The Titans are bringing 6. The Titans are bringing 7, which is what we talked about on Game Plan Friday. Shout out to my everydayers who tune in on Thursdays, who tune in on Fridays, and get all this game plan knowledge that we talk about on Crossover Thursday and then on the Game Plan show on Friday. You have to run out of shotgun. You have to spread them out. You have to do what you don't normally do, gap runs instead of zone runs. The Titans did that on offense. On defense, the Titans are playing a lot more zone, a lot more cover 2 this year. No, we're getting in your face. We're pressuring. We're bringing the fight to you by blitzing Joe Burrow, then beat us in man coverage. And you know what? Roger McCreary got beat a few times by Tajay Spears. Sean Murphy Bunting, or by Tajay Spears. Roger McCreary got beat a few times by Tyler Boyd. Sean Murphy Bunting and Christian Fulton got beat a few times by Jamar Chase. But the Titans were bringing so much heat that Burrow didn't have time to let those get together. And there were a few double moves that were open down the field. There were a few seams that were open down the field. But Burrow did not have time to get to it because the Titans were pressuring. And they weren't just allowing their front 4 to do it. They were doing it with 5, 6, and 7. Now, once we get into the second half, the Titans started to slow down a little bit. They started just to play zone. Didn't want to get beat deep. Keep everything in front of you. We're up 27-3. I get it. But in that first half, in the second quarter, early in that third quarter, the Titans really made some great adjustments to how they dealt with the run game. And they adjusted off playing man early on. They would show man, run. Roger McCreary would run with the motion guy before the snap, and then they would back off into a zone after showing man so early in the game. They were adjusting off what they were doing. It was absolutely fantastic. It was fantastic. So we saw the adjustments in the run game. Then we saw how the Titans layered off of showing man, press man early in the game and layered zone coverages to confuse off of that and disrupt that timing. It was perfect stuff. Again, to see all of what I'm talking about on offense and defense, make sure that you go to my Twitter account at TicTacTitans. Follow all of my work at alltitans.com where I write for Sports Illustrated. In-depth 10-minute, 15-minute film videos showing all this stuff. Little clips on my Twitter account as well. I post links as a post on YouTube for you guys, so you can always go to that on Tuesdays to check out everything. We're going to dive into what Andre Dillard did in this game because it was a little bit of a breath of fresh air from Andre Dillard, even if he got a little bit of help. So we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Before we get into it, though, Do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Snap into the action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is super easy to use, and you can bet on everything from the spreads to player props to over-unders and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season right. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Titans fans, let's cap off this Tic Tac Tuesday edition of the Locked On Titans podcast, breaking down the film, what I saw on tape from the Titans in Week 4. We talked about how the Tennessee Titans offense evolved and it unleashed Derrick Henry. We talked about how the defense adjusted to the early run success of the Bengals and then how they layered in their pass coverage and what they were doing. Now I want to dive into more of an individual conversation and talk about what I saw from Andre Dillard in this game. Before we get into it again, thank you guys for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first to listen each and every day. Remember, tomorrow is What's Next Wednesday. We're going to talk about NPF. We're going to talk about Kyle Phillips, some of the guys returning for the Titans. Also going to talk about Travis Gibson and how he should probably be playing a little bit more. So we're going to look ahead to the next game and to the rest of the season on tomorrow's show. Crossover Thursday, Game Plan Friday, where Game Plan Friday, this for the Bengals game was fantastic. I mean, everything that we talked about played out on the field. It was great. So I certainly hope that you guys are tuning in every day to enjoy all of that. But Andre Dillard was the best pass blocking Tennessee Titan in the game, according to Pro Football Focus. He had a 78.6 pass blocking grade, gave up 0 sacks and only 1 pressure in his true passing sets, which is what you think about like a true pass set, not a screen, not play action, nothing like that. You're literally just one-on-one going up against the defender in pass rush. True pass set. 11 times Dillard gave up 0 pressures. Now, it was confusing to me. The Bengals didn't play Trey Hendrickson quite as much as I thought they would. We didn't see that matchup quite as often as I thought that we would see it. But overall, Dillard had a very, very good game in pass blocking. He looked a lot more comfortable. There were one-on-one opportunities. Dillard did go one-on-one at times. And he still won. So you got to give credit to Andre Dillard for really stepping up. He didn't ruin the Titans game. Now, I do want to say this. He got a lot of help. So the Titans went with what I call the Skoronski plan. It's where Aaron Brewer is bad in pass protection and Andre Dillard is bad in pass protection. So the Titans have the left guard, which was Skoronski in Week 1, help Aaron Brewer first, and then go help Andre Dillard. So the left guard will hit Aaron Brewer's guy to help him and then leave to go help on Andre Dillard's guy. Well, Dylan Radins was doing that, but Radins isn't anywhere near as good as Skoronski at it. And a lot of the times, Dillard got some help from a running back or a tight end and Radins. But at the end of the day, did Andre Dillard ruin the plan? And I'm going to say this. On tomorrow's show, we're going to dive into this more. But Andre Dillard isn't coming out, guys. They're not going to take Andre Dillard out yet. I don't think NPF is coming back in either. Okay? I think Skoronski's going in at left guard, and the Titans are going to roll with the starting offensive line that they've been rolling with, or they wanted to roll with at the beginning of the year. Okay? Because Andre Dillard does things in the run game that are important. Now, he did not have a great game in run blocking in this game. It was not magnificent, but Dylan Radins is not as athletic or as good in space as Andre Dillard. He's not, okay? So neither of them are going to be great pass blockers. It's just not the case, okay? One-on-one against edge rushers. Neither Radins or Dillard are going to be a starting left tackle awesome pass blocker. They're not. And Dillard, with this new Titans run game where they're pulling Dillard outside and they're doing more outside zone pitch, Dillard is the better athlete. So to me, right now, based on what we've seen, Dillard is the guy I think you need to leave at left tackle. Let Skoronski come back at left guard, and let's see how this Tennessee Titans offensive line looks. If it gets worse, you could try Radens. If it gets worse, you could try NPF. But I'm telling you guys, I just don't think the Titans are going to make changes to the offensive line this week based on Dillard bouncing back, having some better reps and one-on-one pass protection. Again, 11 true passing sets for Andre Dillard, 0 pressures allowed. Let's let this guy improve a little bit, all right? As long as they have a good plan and they don't go up against Myles Garrett every week, they should be okay. So there you go. That's another Tic Tac Tuesday. I know, YouTube, I know you get the show early, God forbid. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed. Nobody's breaking down the tape like this in podcast form for you guys. So throw a thumbs up on the video. Hit subscribe. The show's always free. It's your team every day. I definitely do appreciate it. Either way, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Tic Tac Titans. Check out my writing at Sports Illustrated, alltitans.com for all of my film stuff that I'm going to be putting out on Tuesday. Got a lot of videos planned, got a lot of film work ready to go. So excited to share it all with you guys. But as always, that is going to do it for me today, folks. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Gotta time out the outro. And this was Locked On Titans.